So Jill made tacos the other night, a couple nights ago. They were awesome, and it got me thinking that was normally our sandwich night. Is a taco a sandwich? Is a burrito a sandwich? Is a freaking pita a sandwich? What is a taco a sandwich in your opinion?
Taco's a sandwich. Come on,
Oh,
taco is a sandwich.
really?
A taco
So
is a sandwich. Look,
so okay, go
like
ahead.
bamboo is a tree. It, like like bamboo is a freaking tree limb. It's a burrito wrapper and it has carbs. You stick
Okay.
meat and you stick lettuce in it. You wrap it up. It is a sandwich.
But okay, but a tortilla or even a hard crust, it's not bread. Bread has crust. There's like two pieces, all the stuff goes between the two pieces of bread, and then you don't turn the bread sideways like you do a taco, or your
Still
stuff
has
would fall out.
still has flour. You make it with flour, it's a sandwich. Anything has that flour in it, you got a sandwich.
Sandwiches came from
You
Europe.
stick it. You stick.
Tacos came from Mexico.
Well, yeah, they make bread down there in Mexico. Last I checked, so I'm pretty sure that's a sandwich.
So if I go into a Mexican restaurant and say, "Hey, I want a Mexican sandwich tonight," what do you think they're going to give me? Maybe a
You
torta, a
you can
torta,
order that. I
maybe.
know there's a burger on there with a little. You can order off there too. They'll even wrap it in a burrito and give you the sandwich.
Oh well, the only thing we can probably agree on is that we love the tacos.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Point Counterpoint, the show where two grown adults passionately debate topics that absolutely do not require passion.
We tackle the big questions, the timeless questions, the questions that keep philosophers awake at night, like whether cereal is a soup.
Or whether the 80s was the greatest decade in human history. Spoiler, it was.
And I will be providing the counterpoint to that, even when I secretly agree.
Each episode, we pick a topic we actually care about. Music, movies, cars, whatever. And we each take a side. One of us argues with logic, the other argues with enthusiasm. We'll also throw in lightning rounds, ridiculous hypotheticals, and the occasional serious but not political debate, because we're responsible like that.
At the end, you decide who won, or don't. We're not the boss of you. This is Point Counterpoint.
All right, around the horn. So this is a different version than one you've heard before. We converted mixtapes and mopeds. Still survives.
Yep. Yep.
Listeners, don't be afraid.
Not going anywhere.
Still survives. We'll be doing some more episodes. We love mixtapes and mopeds. Certainly, still the fastest growing podcast on the planet. But we like the point counterpoint. We loved a little bit of a debate. Now, the one thing about that, though, in the real world, the Panda and I pretty much agree on about everything. But not today. What say you, Panda?
That is very true. So we're either going to have legitimate disagreements or we're going to fake it till we make it. So yeah, the whole point of this is we've come up with a bunch of different topics. Some of them kind of funny and some of them not so important. Some of them will actually be kind of interesting to see what each of us feels. But we're going to try to take the point counterpoint approach and present a couple of different views on the various topics. So that's the gist of it. Yeah, mixtapes and mopeds isn't going anywhere. You'll see that probably in the next 60 days. I imagine we'll have another one of those. But let's dig in on this one. So the format
College
is
football national championship.
yeah. There we
baby.
go. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So
Come on,
that's
man.
is that Monday?
Coming up Monday, yeah.
Yeah. So we got about 3 or 4 days away from when we record this. So can you believe?
I tell you what, you and I, we were down there last year for the
Yeah.
Buckeyes, and we went there and had that just the awesome experience
Yeah.
watching our lovely Barb walk into the press conference and media day.
Yeah.
Watch her interviewing the Buckeyes. It was one of the funniest things I felt.
That was. She's like,
you looking
she
good.
owned the place. She's like, I just own this place. I'm going
She's
right in.
texting me, "Where are you?" I'm looking up there and going, "Oh, good God, you're in the middle of the players." And she goes, "Oh, I'll come out there." No. Start recording. And she goes out and meets Kirk Herbstreit and everybody going, "Oh, what an awesome time." So we stuck ourselves down there pregame and met our good friends, the Wallies, down there. Had a blast with Wally. Just had a ball, and all the pregame fest. We didn't go into the game again, but did all the pregame stuff, hung out down there, and actually Chloe was out of town, and we had a free place down in Midtown. We just stayed down there and caught the game. Game was over first quarter.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
How'd you
That
like being an
was-
Oregon fan, shell out a couple $3,000?
Yeah.
Game over.
Yeah.
First
Game
quarter.
over. Wow. I tell you, who would have thought that the words Indiana and juggernaut in relation to college football would ever be associated together? Jeez. Unbelievable.
I mean, that is that they are a Joe Burrow team, like the LSU. There are a couple of Buckeye teams that fit that, and that certainly an Alabama team in there. You could say some of the that's one of the top 4 teams of all time in college football.
If they win, they're definitely in that top 3 or so, right?
Exactly, in the top 3.
Yeah.
And some of the Miami teams of the past, go back into some of those 90s, and even that Miami team we beat in 2003. That was a really good football team.
That Burrow team was about as good as we've seen the last 20 years, but I think Indiana's defense is better than that team. I think Burrow had obviously better receivers with Jefferson and Jamar Chase, but Indiana's not too shabby with what they got. I mean, it's a very well-balanced team. They can play tough. They have the good lines on both sides. They have skill players. They got a quarterback who just is unfazed and just makes dime after dime throw. So that's a tough one for Miami.
Play calling too. I just feel like the Indiana all the way around, defense, offense, just fantastic play calling.
Yeah, he's had those coaches with him forever. It shows.
Yep.
Definitely shows. Yeah.
Yeah, fun to watch. And their fans. I love their fans because they don't know what to do.
What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, they just walk around Las Vegas. This is really
Go
cool.
Team! Woo!
Yeah.
Go Hoosiers!
Yeah,
I've never made it this far before. We don't know what to do. Yeah, well, you better get your checkbook out and write a big check if you're going to go down to Miami.
$3,800 just to hit in the top seats. Yeah.
Wow.
Checking them out. Seeing a couple of those really expensive ones. $53,000 for was it called the living room suite seat?
Nice. Yeah. Not me. All right.
No.
So go Hoosiers. I'm definitely pulling for the underdog. I just like to see a school like that actually jump up. I think that's what's made these playoffs better when they've expanded. They've got teams in that haven't been there before, so it's cool.
Very cool.
Plus, as a Buckeye fan, we don't have a lot of love for Miami, so
0.
There's that too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the show. The format's going to be a little different than what we've done before. We're going to have a warm-up section where we'll go through typically 4 to 5 topics. We'll get into them in a little bit of depth, but not too deep. And then that's just going to get us set up for the main course, which we'll really dive in and spend a decent amount of time on. And then we're going to do kind of a lightning round where we'll have 5 or 6 topics and we'll go through each, give our thoughts in 30 seconds or less on that. And then we'll close it out. So that's kind of the format, which means next up, the warm up. And our first topic is
Ford or Chevy.
Ford or Chevy. Which is it? What do you prefer?
Have owned 5 Ford SUV Explorers, 1 Expedition. Ford is, without question, pickup trucks and Mustangs, the best. Hands down.
Interesting. I grew up in a Chevy household, so I have driven all kinds of Chevy products growing up. I would say my first rebuttal to that is Corvette, Camaro, both better than the Mustang, not even close. So the muscle goes to Chevy, in my view.
Shelby,
yeah.
Definitely.
Shelby, the 16 Shelbys they sold. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Got it. Yeah.
Worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, that's right.
All right. And who's won the most?
And the GTO, the one that went over there in Europe and raced around the track a little bit. And kind of probably my really hard. I'm the Ford guy for one reason right now. There is one feature on those cars. It's that keyless entry that I could go to the gym, punch five numbers in there, and I can get in and out of the car. And my last argument on this is very easy to beat the Panda. This is a no-brainer argument. What do you own today? Bronco.
So one of my observations that the Ford styling sucks pretty much across the board, with few exceptions. By the way, Explorer is one of those exceptions. I would grant you that. And the Bronco is by far an
I love
exception.
that Bronco.
The
Yeah.
Bronco is very nice. So I will. It's the only Ford I've ever owned. I do like it. So I'm not saying there's no redeeming value of Fords. I'm saying Chevys are better. Chevys from an engine perspective, they've won more car championships than Ford. So they dominate in that area. And again, I don't like the Ford styling in their trucks. I think they're hideously ugly. The Chevys are much prettier. Now, maybe the Fords are a little more durable and all that stuff. So, and that's what you probably want a truck for. So, you could make the argument there, but I think the Chevys are much across the board are prettier vehicles than Fords, with few exceptions. Obviously, yours and mine being exceptions. And I'll say this on behalf of my brother, who drove a 1978 Blazer all the way through high school. That thing was badass. What a vehicle. You ever remember those Blazers, those big tires and those big V8 engines? They were indestructible tanks.
They
So
were
had to,
indestructible tanks until they rusted out. Yeah.
well, they were rust buckets. I don't think they're any on the roads anymore, but they were
Yeah.
great in their
That's why he
time.
owns a body shop so he can fix that thing every year.
All right. What's next?
So are convertibles the look or do trucks make the heads turn? What do you say, Panda?
Well, in my view, convertibles say, "Hey, look at me." Trucks, like my good buddy Newt Lelouch from our favorite baseball movie, announce their presence with authority. They command attention. So, in my view, a big bad truck or a nice, beautiful little convertible, the truck is going to turn more heads. What do you think?
Well, once again, I like counted up. I go, I've had five convertibles too, of all kinds of flavors. But it's also kind of important what kind of
Yeah,
convertible.
true.
So I've learned, some of those convertibles you went,
A little
it's
leaky?
probably, you go, well, probably not the one that's going to turn any heads. But there's a line from a Tom Cruise movie that so famously put him on the map from Risky Business. And it says, Porsche, there is no substitute. I don't care what kind of truck y'all pull up in. If you ride up in a convertible 911, the heads are turning. End of story. Drop the microphone.
Oh man, that's a good one. I'll grant you that. But I'm telling you, convertibles only look good one place, and that's on a bright sunny day on a road somewhere. Trucks can go off-roading. You can take them anywhere, and they are going to kick some butt. So I like the fact that the truck, you can have you can customize those things, but the big old tires, you can't really do much other than rims and paint color to a convertible. You can put these big rims, you can do all these crazy things to trucks. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to throw this out there. You have a little kid and a convertible goes by or a big truck goes by. What are they going to be pointing to? They're pointing at the big truck.
Yeah,
So
that's exactly why I don't want it. That's exactly why I want the convertible. I don't want that little kid. I'm going. I'm going by the yoga gym. That's where I want to see the kids in the yoga gym and the Pilates class pointing at my car.
oh, man, that's good. Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
All right.
All right. Next one. Here we go.
Next one. What is the absolute worst song that everyone pretends to like? I'm going to let you go first on this one.
This was actually pretty hard for me, harder than I expected. I spent a lot of time on it, and then I hit the jackpot. It's a song that everybody knows, and everybody hums along to, and everybody thinks they love. but in reality, do we really? And it's Africa by Toto. So that song, you listen to that song on the radio, right? It comes up. Everybody sings the chorus, like they'll start singing, and then it goes into the verse, and everybody starts mumbling. Nobody knows the words to this freaking song. It's like a it's like a meme. It's not a real favorite. People are like, oh yeah, that's a great song, but it's never on anybody's playlist. Nobody goes out and says, I've got to play Africa by Toto on Spotify. It's just this song that's like, okay, it's a vibe, whatever, but I don't really like the song. I So that one's one that popped into my head. What about you?
I'm going to actually, from an argument standpoint, I'll give you a little bit of credit on that one. That's pretty good for picking out what you thought would have been right. But I'll tell you which one's going to be. It is. I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Oh my
Barney.
God, the Barney song when you have the
Oh,
VCR playing in the back seat and you're driving down the road and you're going, oh my God. But as moms and the whole family going, I love the damn thing because the kids are being quiet in the back seat. I love it, but God bless, I hate it. I
oh
had
my
to throw
God.
that DVD as fast as they played that thing over and over
Oh
again.
my, I think we had a no Barney rule in our family. I hated that with a freaking passion. Oh my God, I didn't even
They
pretend to like
love to
that one.
play it all the time
The
over and
kids did like
over.
Barney though. Yeah. We tried to push him to the door of the Explorer or something different. Oh my
I
God.
love you, you love
Oh,
me. We're
the,
best
the,
friends like friends should be.
that's the scary part is you actually do a good job singing that. So I'm not really sure what to think about that. All right. Let's close out this section with the final topic: texting versus calling. What is your viewpoint on that one?
So today was a very good, solid answer to that for me. I had two different conferences reach out to me today. One sent me an email, and one called me, or one texted me. One texted me, one called me. So guess who's getting my sponsorship? The good-looking one down in Miami, of course. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Ah,
Just kidding.
boom, boom.
Yeah, just kidding. No, no, no. Of course, the person that called me. They called me, then they dropped me an email. And said it's because it's very personable. So for me, calling.
Yep, I hear you, and I think we're gonna probably net out where there's times where both are the best, but for me, texting respects time. Calling kind of hijacks the time. You got to answer it in the moment, and calling is basically stop everything. You got to talk to me now, where texting says, hey, get back to me when you can. So for me, texting is like straight to the point, gives you time to think about your response, which I always appreciate. And you can text from anywhere. I can be in a meeting with 16 other people. I can text somebody, but you can't call them from the meeting. So it's a little more flexible, and it's a little more fun and goofy when you want to do emojis or gifs or gifs or whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely a texter, but I hear you. I understand there's value in both, but I would say generally for me, I'm a texter.
All right. We are serving up the
Yes.
main course.
This is
This
the
is a
meaty
pretty good
one.
one. We being on the show, we've all talked about Panda and I are definitely, and even our guests, for the most part, we live in SEC country. We hear SEC, and for most of our living time here in the South, is SEC has dominated a lot of things, and a lot of that is because of relatively two teams. Have dominated a lot of that. Alabama and Georgia, for the most part. A little LSU sprinkled, a little of Auburn even sprinkled in there. But now, the dynasty, is it dead? What say you, Panda, who says it is dead?
It is dead. I believe very strongly that it's dead. It used to be the fear factor is gone, and it probably walked out the door when Nick Saban walked out the door. Let's be candid, right? I think the SEC has had it's been a dynasty. No one can debate that for 20 years. Nobody could touch them, but it was always Alabama and somebody else. Right. So Alabama was always there when Nick Saban was there. And maybe Alabama's down year, they lost a game and they didn't make the championship game. And then LSU wins one year, Georgia wins a couple years, but it was always Alabama. They never were weak ever. And when he walked out the door, I think that I don't know, the invincibility walked out. The fear factor is now gone. Nobody is afraid to play an SEC team anymore. Look at the bowl results for the last 3 years. It's horrible. And you can argue, well, our teams are playing higher ranked teams. The Big Ten's been doing that for 50 years. The Big Ten goes everywhere and plays higher ranked teams. And now the SEC is trying to use that excuse. The Big Ten was never allowed to use that. So, the main thing, other than the Saban factor, is the athletes are no longer staying in the SEC schools. They're getting distributed everywhere else. And NIL has really brought that out. Everybody's got their bagman now. In the past, the SEC kind of had a monopoly, in my view, on bagmen, and now it's all bagmen above the table, and everybody's got one. And oh, by the way, Oregon's got Nike founders funding them, and Texas Tech's got a former player who's a billionaire founding that team. And now the players are getting distributed in different ways before than what it was before. So there's a parity there. SEC is not dead. SEC is potentially even going to be the best conference, or certainly at the top of the conferences. But the dynasty where they're winning 18 out of 20 national championships or whatever the number was, those days are over, in my view. What do you say?
I say is like you said, the top states with the best talent still are Texas, Florida, Georgia. California certainly has its talent there. We know how Ohio does, but Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and even Tennessee are all talent rich. Yes, Lane Kiffin, you dummy. Mississippi is talent loaded. You shouldn't have ever left that, you dummy. You probably could have coached your way into the finals, beating Miami. You dummy.
Ironically, yes.
Yeah, ironically. And you know what? Even into the tournament of the 12-team playoff, more SEC teams come into it. So maybe the dynasty has slowed down for a couple of years. Certainly in the last three. I just think there's going to be a different set of teams. Now it's not going to be Alabama being that dynasty that carries the weight. I think we're going to see what we're seeing with the Big Ten. I think it's going to be a lot of SEC teams that are going to be part of this dynasty carrying it forward. We just maybe not see it as dominant as it was, but there's still going to be quite a few, mostly because a lot of these, it's like what we always used to say about the Pac-12 beating up on the Big Ten, because it was always at the Rose Bowl. Right. It was always somewhat their home field. We always had to travel, whatever that big flight is. Now it's proven, right? They look at the statistics. Somebody that travels more than 2 time zones has a 70% better chance of losing.
Yeah.
Well, those bowl games are played right here. Orange Bowl, Peach Bowl, Cotton Bowl are right here in the SEC area, right where these guys are going to be playing, right where.
Fair point.
Yeah. So there's still going to be. And then my final point in here. Go ahead. What do you say to my points?
No, I think that's valid. The games are still played in the warm weather environments, which is predominantly in the South from Texas all the way over to Florida. So that advantage will remain for SEC, no question about it. But, just the SEC, that conference struck fear into all other conferences. And it's, the last 3 years you kind of glossed over it, but, no SEC teams, national championships, their bowl record is like 40% wins, something in the last 3 years, whatever the number is. It's not good.
It's bad.
And yeah, it's not good at all. So, I think you're spot on. The SEC is not dead. So I am not arguing the SEC is dead. I'm saying the SEC dynasty is dead, where no one else can compete. the talent is going to be spread from East Coast to West Coast, probably more on the East Coast side, but still it's going to be moving up into the northern ranks. You got Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan, and now Indiana. You got Oregon up in the north. You got a lot of teams with momentum and resources and money that are going to be stealing recruits. And you see what's happening in the portal. Like High State is flipping over a roster, 30 players of which none of them were real starters that they wanted to keep. And they're buying starters because they saw that's what Indiana did. Indiana, if they win, they're going to win with like 24-year-olds. And so the game now is, hey, go play somewhere. And then the rich schools are going to pluck off their starters and they're going to grab you up that last year to make the natty run. SEC teams, by the way, are going to do the same thing, but they don't have the big power bases, the big money bases that some of these larger schools have in the other areas of the country. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think SEC is not dead. It's just going to be a lot more democratic now. Who wins the Natty every year?
Well, I'm still there. Now we go to where the cash is. So the cash. Who are the cash schools? There's no billionaires at Alabama. Auburn has it. Auburn has the only billionaire in Alabama, Mr. Yellowwood. And the billionaires all over the place and for Texas. Billionaires all over the place for Texas A&M. Billionaires all over the place, I think, for Tennessee. I'm pretty sure billionaires at Florida. I'm not sure of Georgia. I think so, but I'm not sure. But it'd be good to see the homework of where, who's got it. Habit is Arkansas, but they can't seem to figure out how to take some money out of the Walton piggy bank.
Right.
You're right. Yeah, they got some of the biggest money in the entire planet in their backyard and can't figure out how to go beg for some grocery money down the street.
You know who should be good? Stanford, with all those Palo Alto billionaires, Silicon Valley billionaires. You think any of those want to give money back to their alma mater? Man.
I sure like how Cuban stepped up to Indiana and stroke his check. If it couldn't be anybody else, well, I really like that guy. I don't know why. He just anything that guy does, he's one of the ones I love to watch, and usually he speaks on something. He's pretty good.
I agree with you there.
Yeah,
I do.
He's a good guy. I like that. Those teams are not going anywhere. They have enough cash. I'm not sure all the teams. So I think we're just going to see a power play different. And so there's going to be some different teams now that step it up. They're going to start taking it over. But there's still so much talent here in the South. They just got to figure out how they keep them here. That's going to be the difference.
The Alabama used to take all that talent, Georgia too. They would stockpile 3 and 4 deep. These All-Americans.
That's the
you can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
You can't do it.
Right, and that's what Alabama, and that's what Nick Saban. You can see why he got out of the game. He goes, look, I don't want to negotiate my roster.
Yeah,
I want to raise them as kids. I want to let them be successful in life, teach them in life. And he wanted to stack his roster, and that's how he did it.
And Woody Hayes did it in the 50s with the Buckeyes. I heard a rumor that every Ohio State player on their roster asked for more money this year. Every single player. So then the coaches were like, well, okay, I can't give the 4th-string guy who hasn't played but 2 plays in 2 years. I can't give that guy $100,000 because I got just limited budget. So they're like,
right.
The heck, yeah, you just go into the portal, dude, and we'll see you in a couple of years, maybe. Yeah, good luck. And then go play at Stephen F. Austin for a year or two, and then if you do something, then we'll talk to you later. But so these in Alabama's going to do it, Georgia. I mean, the SEC schools are going to do it. Everybody's going to do it. It's just a different model.
You can't believe every kid because I'm sure there are so many kids out there who go, I just want to play football at Ohio State, or I want to play football at Georgia. I don't, the money's one thing.
There's 6,000 kids in the portal.
The agent may be out there going, "Hey, I want more money."
Wow,
that may be the truth with the agent, and that is the ones who will be ruining the whole deal.
I 100% agree.
That's going to be the greedy bastards that really ruin the whole deal.
Yeah.
Whoever the coach's agent started the ruining the whole deal. What's that guy's name that he's like has most of the coaches under him? I can't think of his name at all. Anyway, that's the guy that really started the whole war of the downfall of all college football, getting the $10 million contract plus.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the irony of all this is that they said, "Hey, pay players because there's all this money that the players aren't getting." Well, the reality is there really wasn't any money. All that money was going to facilities and other sports programs. Only 8 schools, athletic departments actually broke even in any given year. There wasn't a lot of money. So now it's got to be external money. That's where the billionaires are coming in. They're throwing the money in because there's no real money that the schools have that isn't already allocated
Bingo.
to other programs.
Right.
And so that's the irony of all of this, is there really never was the money. These aren't NFL greedy owners that were stealing money from players. These were academic institutions that were paying for stadiums and scholarships and food and all the stuff and then varsity lacrosse and badminton and rifle and all these things that never makes any money. And so it's just an irony for me that
and that's how the SEC is dead.
Yeah, and that's how the SEC died on a false premise. Isn't that funny? Wow.
My last comment on why the Dynasty will still keep alive is because the ESPN owns the SEC, and they will never let the Dynasty die.
That is a very fair observation. All right, so I think we settled that. SEC Dynasty is dead. Moving on to
winner, chicken dinner.
All right, we're going to go into the lightning round. We got 5 topics. We're going to just go through them fast, like 30 seconds a pop. These are going to be just kind of all over the board, just stuff that we find interesting. So first one, Steve, Wheels, for you, best M&M color.
None, but Reese's Pieces color is orange. Love those much more than an M&M every day of the week.
Okay, you can't follow the rules. I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to go yellow only because I think it's the coolest color. Reminds me of Bumblebee from Transformers. He was my favorite Transformer. So yellow with brown always works for me. So I'm going with yellow. No other reason than that.
Vinyl versus streaming. What say you, Andy?
So I am vinyl guy. I think it's more personal. I think you get a better connection to the bands and the music, and it's just fun just getting the album out. It can be annoying getting up every 20 minutes and changing over. I get that. Streaming has value, but I'm just really enjoying the vinyl right now.
I can definitely appreciate that, listening to 12 songs that suck and my one song that's awesome on vinyl. But my streaming, I can go play for I've got one that's about 6 hours of freaking awesome songs that I go play on my road trip. And everybody in the car goes, man, that's awesome. And I can play it all the time and almost never hear the same songs that everybody just loves on the whole time. And I don't have to get up and do anything and hear anytime ever.
Fair point. All right, next topic. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes but they have to have granola.
Pancakes with granola. Got it. All right. Well, I'm a waffle guy because I like to make sure that every little square on the waffle is filled with syrup. So I literally go up and down every row and put syrup until every square is filled. And then I know I can start eating my waffle. And for me, a better waffle is better than a good pancake any day. So I'm a waffle guy.
All right. That one was actually really hard for me too. But this one's terribly hard for me. But best movie sequel of all time.
I'm going Godfather Part 2, which is better than the first one, and mainly because Robert De Niro was just amazing with how they kind of gave the backstory. Using De Niro when Vito was a younger man. That was and then the Cuba. I like the whole Cuba Castro angle of that. So yeah, to me, Godfather Part Two is the best sequel of all time.
I got two answers. I'll go with one. I am a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, and a lot of it has to do with the music. Volume 2, that one is
Mhm.
just freaking awesome. My real answer is Ocean's 12 because I just absolutely love George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, those guys in there. And throw in little Julia Roberts, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I love that talking, trying to rip off the casino. Just the whole plot behind it. I love that. I can watch that movie. It's one of those ones. As soon as I see it coming on, over and over and over and over and over again, because I love watching those guys.
I that one was so cool because they totally nailed that thief that was like hounding them and had the
Yes,
bet and
that
everything.
part too.
They totally got that guy, and I'm like, how are they going to get out of this? And oh, that was awesome. So yeah, that was a very nice plot twist there. I enjoyed that.
Yes, that was a very awesome ending. Right, that
Yeah.
was a yes.
All right, let's close out the lightning round. Best car color.
So my answer on that is not black and not red. Any other color works for me, and especially not red because red is the one that I got a ton of speeding tickets. So I like silver or grayish colors, white, all any of those, but just not black, too hot in the south. And red just loves the guy will just get pulled over by cops all the time. Go ahead, what say you?
Oh, I'm definitely about the red. A sports car? Come on, you just argued that sports cars are better than trucks. Turn heads, red sports car. Nothing, even the cops want to go look at it. So come on, just
White. Yeah, you were white. I never got
go.
pulled over in my white sports car. I got pulled over in my red one all the time.
Well, I don't think I've ever really owned a true red car in my life. I'm just about to paint one up. That 280ZX is going to be red, but yeah, I've owned mostly white cars. But anyway, I like red. I think it's just the coolest color. So there we go. Lightning round concluded.
Hey, thanks for
That
listening to our first podcast here. This is a good one. We are just debating on topics. We really want you to kind of be sitting, listening, and debating along with us. Please drop us a note. Tell us if what you like. Tell us of where we screwed up and you didn't like our answer. You had a better one. Like I think you like blue M&Ms and Reese's Pieces stink.
Hey,
Uh,
and also tell us who won today.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
trying
We're
to
not
keep
gonna.
track of who wins. Steve's going to go into Chat GPT and try to figure out if we can take the transcript and let it tell us who won the day. So we'll share that the next podcast. We'll let you know
There
what
we go. We'll
the
share it on the
chat.
next podcast. There we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. All right, I enjoyed it, Steve, as always.
Thanks, Panda.
Catch you next time.